bringing you insight and knowledge that is logical, thoughtful, and on point. Together, they deliver fair and balanced analysis from an insider's perspective with real conversations where the callers, the listeners, and the online maniacs get in on the action by sharing their thoughts, their comment, and their reaction. Join our online maniacs at facebook.com/The Martin Houston Show. You're listening to Tide 100.9 and 1230 WTBC. It's time for kickoff. So buckle up and get ready, because this is the sound of Bama Sports. The Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon is live. Roll, Tide, roll!
Roll, Tide, roll. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome in to the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. It's a free-for-all Friday powered by Empowerment Training and Consulting, and we invite you to get in on the program. Gonna be driving it solo this morning, so there's an extra couple seats at the table for you this morning, maniacs. So jump in on the conversation, and as always, we invite you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904, and we invite that conversation. Whatever you have on your mind, is there something cooking that you like to talk about? Or you may be tuned in on the live stream side of things, on the streaming, on the apps, whether it's X or Facebook or YouTube or the Tide 100.9 app. Either way, you're able to get in on the conversation. We welcome you and your comments and your interactions and your topics, maniacs, anything boiling that you want to get to. So we invite you to get in on that conversation. We'll kind of review, I guess the best way to say it is there's a couple things that we didn't completely get to finish talking about, or we mentioned earlier in the week that we didn't get to. So we're going to have that conversation. Tide100.9.com did a breakdown of all of the new players coming in to Alabama. And when I went through that roster, it made me think, did Nate Oates go into the offseason, into the portal, with the expectation that he would get, for sure, Amari Allen back? Because it seems like he kind of went out and got a couple of guys to cover what Amari brought to the table so that he could potentially move Amari to the two, as a starter. And then when they go small ball, Amari may become the three. So we'll talk about that and how that is all going to play out. And we'll bring back up Q Dixon's conversation around defense, around rebounding. And as we do that, if you have some thoughts on that, then we invite you to get in on the conversation. Alabama softball, once again, had a great run in the SEC, even more so with Texas winning the championship in women's softball last night. We'll also talk a little bit about the Nick Saban conversation, Nick Saban testimony. We're going to play some of that. So probably play more audio than I normally play, but we're going to get his opening comments from his testimony there. And then we're also going to get some of the question or response that one of the legislators asked him and two of the other panelists, because part of what my frustration with this whole NCAA thing is that no one will stand up and take responsibility and ownership. And one of the first things you have to have is, if you're going to have a great organization, is you have to have ownership. You have to have somebody responsible, but they can't be responsible just for their area. And so I'm torn between, can the NCAA fix itself? Can the conferences fix college football? Or do you have to have something like Congress? Or should we have some combination? Should there be some combination of NCAA, conferences, and Congress working on it? Because I'm concerned that if you don't have a single body, everybody's going to be fighting for their own vision of it and bringing it to the table, and you're going to have what you have. Congress has tried to step in, but two of the most powerful conferences say, nope, we don't like it. The NCAA waited too late, and people don't even value their thought and their opinion anymore. And the Big Ten and SEC, let's be real, we benefit from it as SEC fans, Alabama fans, but they're really about what's going to give them the most power and influence. I mean, think about it. They're literally asking for what you would think the weaker conferences would ask for. They're asking for guarantees. Does a power conference need to ask for guarantee if you're clearly the best? Should you be asking for guarantees? And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to read their actual statement of what they had to say about about the College Sports Protection Act, and get your thoughts there. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone. Be the difference you want to see in the world today. So, excuse me. Once again, we're going to talk about Nick Saban.
Your business is on.
And what Nick Saban had to say. Let me get that audio piped up. While we're doing that, Chase, Chase, I think it's working. I got it now. All right, here we go. I apologize, guys, running solo this morning, but here's Nick Saban and what he had to say in his opening comments. It's a fairly long statement, but I think it kind of sums up things. And maybe, just maybe, I'm having to rethink what I've said about Nick Saban. Maybe he can have more authority without being on the sideline. But does he need to become the head of that committee? And is there anybody better suited? Because he talks about what I'm talking about. You can't be in it for Alabama. You can't be in it for the SEC. You can't be in it for the NCAA. You can't be in it for, I don't trust Congress to do anything right. I mean, they're horrible. But can you be in it if you're all about saving college sports? And here's what Nick Saban had to say.
I could use a little of that Cuban coffee because I didn't sleep much last night worrying about this testimony. Ranking Member Cantwell and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify. And I really want everybody here to know that I'm not here to represent a conference or a team, but to preserve college athletics as a whole. You know, I think we all have to ask ourselves a question: what is our guiding principles for the future of college athletics, including Olympic, women, and non-revenue sports? You know, I've spent my adult life in college athletics. I believe in it. I've seen people come, young people come in the program Need structure, need discipline, need coaching, need academic support, need accountability. And I've seen them leave with a degree, a career, a family, and a better chance to be successful in life. I think the current system that we have in college athletics right now makes it more and more difficult to do these things. We moved away from development to focusing on money and not life skills. So to put this in perspective, if you had the biggest, fattest Ferrari that you could ever have, and it was going 150 miles an hour toward the Grand Canyon, somebody needs to tap the brakes. And I think that's what we all need to do here.
All right, we're going to pick back up from what Coach Saban had to say, and we'll keep the conversation going. But as we go to break here, I want you to think about why I played that. Because like I said, as a leader, we have all of these different entities, all these different organizations, all these different interests and wants and likes, and all of these leaders, air quotes there, people in positions of authority. Don't know how many leaders we actually have, but you don't hear them talking about what's the guiding principle for college athletics. Not for football, because the majority of what the SEC and the Big Ten is fighting for is all about football. Congress, they can't do anything right. And the NCAA is trying to save itself. So do they have any guiding principles? Are there any guiding principles for college athletics, the Olympic sports, developing the students, life skills, developing players versus just paying players, and all of these things that's going to begin? Guys, I don't even think we've seen the problems yet, but I think they're coming. We're going to come back on the other side and let Coach Saban finish talking to us in his opening statement. You listen to the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. If you want to comment on what you've already heard, and maybe Martin has been hard on Coach Saban. Maybe I have to back up and say, maybe this committee, this joint committee, should be headed up by Nick Saban. If you vote for that, let me hear from you.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF. We get off to a nice and quiet Friday ride. Moving on McFarland, never better in between Academy and 43. We're also traveling nice and smooth on Lurleen Wallace, and that's in between 15th Street and McFarland. Never better on 69 north and southbound onto Skyland Boulevard. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International. Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
With Taco Casa, it's not really fast food because it's made fresh every day in the store. The quality hasn't changed. The consistency hasn't changed because
So to put
you
this
haven't
in
changed
perspective,
anything in the food. It's made fresh every morning in every restaurant. I think buzzwords in today's food industry are locally sourced and high quality ingredients. We want to say, that sounds great. We've been doing that since 1974.
Under the biggest cactus in town, Taco Casa.
Looking to bring your brand to life at B&B Sports Silk Screen and Lettering, we do more than just screen printing. From crisp embroidery to custom leather hat patches and even direct-to-film transfers, we've got your gear covered. Shirts, hats, hoodies, you name it, we can brand it. Whether it's your business logo or a custom design, we'll help make your visions a reality. Give Rodney a call at 205-339-7361 or visit us at 1600 Lurleen B. Wallace Boulevard, Northport, Alabama, and roll Tide.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com, or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. We stay dry here today with sunshine in the forecast at 88. Partly cloudy tonight, low 66. The humidity starts to creep in tomorrow. We'll introduce a small chance of an afternoon shower or storm tomorrow afternoon. High tomorrow, 89. 81 on Sunday. A better chance of rain and storms in the forecast. And the shower and storm chances continue into Monday, with Monday's high in the mid-80s. Richard Wedding of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 60 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. It's a free-for-all Friday. My sons are out on assignment, so there's seats at the table. There's always seats at the table. There's just a couple empty seats at the table. Make sure you fill them this morning. And Tim Coggins reiterating what I believe about when you run to the point where Congress is taking over and actually making more sense than free enterprise and capitalism, you are in trouble. Ronald Reagan said the most frightening thing you can hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I totally agree with that statement. If you're expecting Congress to fix the problem, it is off the rails. And here's, I know Philip has called in. Philip, we're gonna try to wrap up some of this conversation before we transition to basketball. So be patient and we'll get to you. Tim Coggins said they mess up everything they touch. Conferences need to come up with their own plan to fix it. Think of the game instead of themselves. And that's the point. Nick Saban here saying, using the analogy, college football is that souped up Ferrari. And what do we need to do about that souped up Ferrari, Coach Saban?
So to put this in perspective, if you had the biggest, baddest Ferrari that you could ever have, and it was going 150 miles an hour toward the Grand Canyon, somebody needs to tap the brakes. And I think that's what we all need to do here. And I'm going to veer a little away from my testimony and just give you some examples of, things that I think people may not know that are happening in college football that are huge problems. First of all, I think student athletes should profit from name, image, and likeness as long as those things are authentic endorsements. They create branding for themselves. They sign with the company. They do promotions. I think these things are all healthy for their education as well as their quality of life. I think name, image, and likeness has become pay for play. I said 5 or 6 years ago, when a school that I'm not going to mention who didn't do anything wrong had what is called a collective. A collective is an organization that raises money.
Soldier, husband.
And Coach there is talking about, I'm going to get back to what he's saying there, but he's saying the example he's about to use, this company really didn't do anything wrong, or this university, But by playing by the rules, what happened? It began the journey that we're on right now. And here's Coach.
To be able to pay players and disguise it as marketing opportunities. When a school did that, the first school that did it, I said, is this what we want college football to become? And I got really criticized for that. But it has become that. And it's become pay for play. And we've also extended the opportunities now to funnel money from operations, which come to the universities as marketing opportunities from the university standpoint, to funnel that money out of operations into paying players. So now, if you take that $20 million or whatever it is, you could fund 5 or 6 Olympic and women's sports. So these are things that I think need to be addressed. And I think this bill takes a big step forward in doing that.
All right. Now, Chase, as you're listening to that, I mean, like I said, I may have to eat my words because I said Saban may have given up his power position by stepping off the sideline. Maybe this is what Saban is pulling for. Because unless you get a cohesive group, a committee, I'm not really, but you have to have some organization that has all of the stakeholders in it. If this was a single organization, it wouldn't make sense to not include all the stakeholders. It also wouldn't make sense to only have one stakeholder. It also wouldn't make sense to have people with competing views making decisions for everybody else. So Coach Saban here, did you hear what he said? He said that money, there wasn't new money that came in with the House settlement. There wasn't, no one gave an extra $20 million, Chase. That $20 million used to sit in the operational budget of the athletic department. And now that money goes toward just paying players. And he said you could fund 5 to 6 Olympic sports with that $20 million. So where will the universities, Chase, get that additional money? Where are they going to find an additional $20 million? Because now they're paying players. And think about this for a second. If you're on the rowing team at Alabama and you get money out of that $20 million, that's the same money that was used to pay for you to be able to compete. You're already losing $1 million+ for the university. Now, the money that they were using just to get your losses to $1 million, your net losses to $1 million and some change, that now goes to paying you. Now, I don't know what business model you're going to follow, Chase, Maniacs, but I know that if I'm in that position, I'm going to look and go, okay, I was losing $1 million on this product line already. Now my expenses to that product line just went up $1 million. So now I'm negative $2 million. I think I'm just going to cut that rowing. And that's where we're headed, guys. That's literally where we're headed. We're not going to get to all of Coach Saban's conversations in his opening statement because there was a specific question he was asked. Two questions. One, though, was about the agents. And this is something that I don't think most of us are fully aware of when it comes to college sports and what's happening in the agent field. And Coach Saban was asked about this particular scenario. Chase, are you familiar with how the agency world works? How they pay agents in the
way you see an idea
in college sports?
I am not.
Okay. All right. And most people are, we keep referring to how
You're back.
How college sports is becoming like the NFL, it's actually much worse than the NFL. Would you agree with that? It's much worse. You know why it's much worse? There's actually some rules and guidelines in the NFL in virtually every area when it comes to how the players are played, how the owners make money, how they revenue share, contracts, length of contracts, termination of contracts, and even on how agents are paid. Well, here is Coach Saban addressing even the problem with agents and what they do.
Well, we mentioned this before earlier in our testimony that I think it's imperative that student athletes, their families, have protection from agents. Right now, you don't have to be registered to be an agent for a college player, so anybody on the street can do it. We don't have any regulation on how much they can charge.
Should their fees be capped?
No question. I think that, if you look at NFL, they're 3 to 5%. We have college players paying 20%.
Yeah.
We have agents that encourage players to get in the portal when it's really not in their best interest to get in the portal, only to try to stimulate more revenue for them.
Did you hear that? Just let me let you hear this again. I'm going to let you hear this again.
Should their fees be capped?
No question. I think that, if you look at NFL, they're 3 to 5%. We have college players paying 20%.
Yeah.
We have agents that encourage players to get in the portal when it's really not in their best interest to get in the portal, only to try to stimulate more revenue for them, but really for themselves, with no guarantee that they're going to get more revenue. So I do think there should be regulation. I do think there should be rules. I do think they should be registered. Look, the NFL has a lot of really good rules. And you have to be a registered agent with the Players Association and the NFL to be able to represent players. And I think families and student athletes have the same, should have the same protection in terms of the framework that we put around agents for college kids.
That's great. Mr. Holsclaw.
All right. Wow. Is Saban right? And Tim Coggins brings up an interesting point. We're going to go to break after this and get that comment, and then we're going to get to Philip, and I'll let Philip comment on this as well. But Tim Coggins says Saban got his money, but now says it can't be about money. I agree it can't. But he caused a lot of it. Players see him getting his and want them to. Agree or disagree with Tim Coggins' statement? Did Saban cause this? Has Saban ever said it can't be about money from the player standpoint? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Agree or disagree with Tim Coggins' statement? I'm going to post it and let that pop up here on the screen. Saban got his money, but now it says it can't be about money. I agree it can't, but he caused a lot of it. Players see him getting his and want theirs too. Has Saban ever said that players should not be getting their money? Agree or disagree? We'll talk about it on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Meets On Traffic Center, TGIF. We get off to a nice and quiet Friday ride. Moving on McFarland, never better in between Academy and 43. We're also traveling nice and smooth on Lurleen Wallace, and that's in between 15th Street and McFarland. Never better on 69 north and southbound onto Skyland Boulevard. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
Hey, I'm Richard Adams with Adams Services, your local experts. Don't let power outages disrupt your life or business. With a Honeywell generator, you get reliable backup power to keep everything running smoothly. For a limited time, a free 10-year parts and service warranty, as well as financing as low as $189 a month. Give Adams Services a call at 205-339-6540 or visit us at adamsvcs.com. Your local expert.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of The Game, we're going to get you ready for a free-for-all Friday edition. We'll talk to Brent Beard. We'll talk with one of the legends of Alabama Crimson Tide baseball. Recruiting is on our mind. Another big weekend for Kalen DeBoer and company. We'll do that starting at 2 p.m. Presented by Brian Harden Construction on the Friday edition of The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
People may not know that it happens.
The longest running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
And now, Babbel proudly presents The Cat Chat.
Bonjour, monsieur. Yes, hi. I'm staying in room 22, and I was wondering if there was anyone I could chat with about my sheets. They seem to be making me just really itchy. Pardon, vous avez dit chat? Yeah, it's not a big deal. I just want to chat with maybe like the cleaning service, see which detergent they use. Just a chat. Chat, please. I'm so itchy. Un instant, s'il vous plaît. Matisse, j'ai un client qui demande un chat. Oh, my goodness. I thank you. It's just a chat, really just a...
Voilà.
What?
So you requested a cat to scratch you.
Traveling mistakes can really be absurd. Learn to speak like the locals with Babbel, and no one will mistake your chat for a cat.
So please, your cat.
Get up to 50% off on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to get up to 50% off. BABBEL.com.
The sound of Bama Sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on Tide 100.
Use a little of that Cuban currency. If you have, and I'm going to veer a little away from my testimony and just give you some examples of things that I think people may not know that are happening in college football that are huge problems. First of all, I think student athletes should profit from name, image, and likeness as long as those things are authentic endorsements. They create branding for themselves. They sign with the company. They do promotions. I think these things are all healthy for their education as well as their quality of life. I think name, image, and likeness has become pay for play. They create.
All right, so and Saban did absolutely nothing. Let me see. Let me get back. We had some comments from Tim Coggins, and I asked you what's your thoughts, your comments on that. So I'm going to address that really quick. Saban got his money, but now he says it can't be about money. I agree it can't, but he calls a lot of it. Players see him getting his and want theirs too. Saban kind of likes the NFL model. This is Lisa. It seems to me, Tim, is wrong. As I understand it, players make a decent amount of money in the NFL. Saban is not saying players shouldn't be paid. He's saying there needs to be common sense, sanity, and reason brought to the equation of how they pay them so it is sustainable, and college sports does not go off the cliff, particularly football. He said in an open statement. Well, and Lisa Ross says Saban did absolutely nothing to cause the current situation. That is a farce when people maintain that he's been warning against it for multiple years, getting paid big bucks himself did not cause this. Tim Coggins' response: said players should be able to get money for their promotion. They can find, but not money from the school directly. And I personally agree with that, Tim. I played the game. I do not think college sports should be paying players from the school standpoint. I mean, I don't have a problem with that mindset because it's not a professional sport. You're a student who is an athlete. And what this all started from was no one was saying colleges should be paying students. That was never the argument. The argument was you should not be able, NCAA, to benefit from my name, image, and my likeness, and then turn around and I can't benefit from it. The pay from the school to play college sports is the scholarship and all that comes with that. All of the things that, according to what's the name, the college athlete is getting $200,000+ a year. According to Alabama Burn, every athlete is getting that to come to the university. That's just like the players who come to play for the NFL. That's their payment. That part's kind of regulated to a certain degree. The student in scholarship at one college is more than a scholarship at the other, but it's being paid for the same thing. When you bring in $20 million, and that's why I'm telling you, Nick Saban is about the whole thing. If you start to pay, how do you determine how do you pay it? When no one is negotiating on behalf of one player versus the other, I come in with a certain amount out of high school. How do you know? How do you determine? And all those things. So I have zero issue with the schools only paying scholarship and having a stipend, which is what we used to have, and then having an NIL. I do not think Saban's getting paid for what he did. Saban was underpaid. If the other coaches are paid what they were paid, Nick Saban was underpaid for what he brought to Alabama. He wasn't overpaid. I promise you that. In my opinion. That's just my opinion. But I just think that the problem is that you don't have any consistency from one place to the next. I don't think he caused the problem by being paid. I disagree with that. We'll and we won't have time to get any deeper in that because I do want to have a couple other conversations. And Philip has been patiently waiting. So Philip, we'll let you get me off of this bandwagon of mine. Good morning. Welcome in, Philip. You're on the Empowerment Training and Consulting Hotline.
Well, Martin, it's like the old mafia line. Just when I think I'm out of the mafia, you pull me right back in. I'll say this quickly about what you were just talking about with Coach Saban and what all he experienced and went through. There's one fallacy about Coach Saban's career that nobody wants to admit, and I've thought about it a lot. You may disagree. Everybody may laugh at me when I hang up. But I think people are under the assumption, and I don't think it's a correct assumption, I think people are under the assumption that Nick Saban waved the magic wand and everything just easily and magically occurred while he was here for all these years and had all the success he had. I guess in short, what I'm saying is I think it was a struggle for Coach Saban to do what he did. Now, did he have it going on? Yeah. Did he have momentum? Yes. Did we have our brand was strong, it still is, but and a lot of that credit goes to him, but I think it was a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and not nearly as easy as all these people across the nation think it was for him. I just don't agree with that.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Saban. part and parcel, Saban created a lot of his own success within the system that he was in, and with the brand, the brand of Alabama.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say he worked so hard at rebuilding things, and we just sort of sat back and watched it and enjoyed it because of all the success. And he's an awesome. He's a charismatic man for one thing. He's interesting as all get out. He's got a great sense of humor. He's got this great common sense that you can sort of put down on a notebook and sort of follow some of his stuff in life. But he worked his tail off, and I just think people thought it was easy, and I don't think it was anywhere near easy. Go ahead, Martin.
Well, you look at the rules that the NCAA made over the years, many of them was to try to stop what he was doing, and he would just adjust and respond accordingly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so many times he would adjust to whatever was happening. And he overcame a lot of adversity. When he was dominating in recruiting, they changed the recruiting rules. When he was dominating defensively, they allowed the offense to become hurry up, no huddle, linemen to go 3 yards downfield or 2+ yards downfield without it being a lineman downfield. They changed the clock rules that you could hurry up and line up, and the officials would run the ball in, and so that you couldn't substitute. Which he was one of the guys who did that the most when it came to having guys to run depth. All of those things were things that were put in, and then it became an offensive-minded game versus defensive-minded game, and if you go back and look, Saban won his first 3 with dominant defensive teams, and he won his next 3 with dominant offensive teams. So the man adjusted. Anybody that tries to take anything away from that. Then the other part, Rusty Dent says something, and this is that ship long sailed. I've said for years, Saban made more in 6 months than most of his players will make in a lifetime. When a kid can't afford to take a date to a nice dinner, that's not fair to the players. That ship sailed a long time ago, okay? What we're talking about now is not even close to that, Rusty. Rusty, I lost my eligibility because I went to speak. I did something. I actually went to a church and spoke on a Sunday morning. They received a love offering. I had no guarantee of how much money I was going to get. Received that love offering. It was turned in. And then someone turned me in for receiving a benefit. I had to pay that money back to regain my eligibility. These guys now, they can do that as much as they want. And nobody's limiting that. No one's limiting them starting their own business. No one's limiting them using number 35 with the Houston jersey. No one is stopping them from building relationships, building speaking businesses, building brands. They can do all of that. What Saban is saying is if you start paying the players out of the operational budget, you're going to have to cut. There's not like this. Alabama and every college got a $20 million expense item, Philip, with no new revenue.
Right.
I mean, let that sink in, guys. How is the economy impacting us with gas? Right? There are people who were barely making it, and now because of gas prices alone, they're below the waterline. Just imagine if you had 10 things that you were below the waterline already, and then someone added an expense to it. The only 2 programs in most schools, and some programs it's only one that's making money, is football. So all of these things about players should be paid and players should be getting this and players should be getting that. Most of the time, that is actually only true of football players. Everybody else is costing the university money.
Hey, Martin, I just want to say that's a conversation I have with my friend Lisa Rawls on X quite a bit. She's really great to talk to about this topic. And the thing I mentioned to Lisa is that, you know, I'm concerned about some schools here in the future being faced with the decision of not only cutting sports, but cutting academic departments. I mean, you think about that. You think about what a cultural change that could create among at the campus itself, which is the universe, which is the end all be all for everything there at the school. You talk about a school having to cut academic departments because of overspending in sports, which FSU has alluded to, and now the University of Louisville has gone straight out and alluded to that. They didn't allude to it; they stated it straight up that they're not going to dip into their operational funds anymore to make athletic department payments.
Right. The athletics department should be self-funding because it's not a requirement to be a student. The problem is you take away some of the athletics, and guess what happens? The academic attendance. Alabama is not a $40,000 university because it has the greatest academic program in the South. The reason it grew the way it grew was we had a president who was in talking about at the university with
Bob Witt.
Huh?
Bob Witt.
Yeah, who was in office at the same time, who had a vision for growth and had a coach named Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take away Alabama's football, you take away Alabama's basketball, attendance immediately goes down. Now you take away the attendance goes down, then there's less money actually going into the coffer itself. Okay. Now you take away the Olympic sports, you have fewer athletes. So the requirement goes down, attendance goes down. All of the people who come into town to watch all of those sports goes down. Now the city loses impacted to university. Man, Nick Saban was a economic engine in and of himself, but not just for Alabama football. And we're not Alabama, but it's not just at Alabama. I just think that Nick Saban, like I said, I may have to eat my words because they're going to have to form a committee, in my opinion, that is, so, you know.
Yeah. Hey, Martin, let me add one thing before I jump off here, if you don't mind. Wyatt's got a very good article.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Wyatt had a very good article on the front page of the website, Tide Sports website. The radio station website. I'm sorry. About the basketball. I blanked out, man. I'm sorry. But anyway, it's a good article by Wyatt, and I want to tell you, these freshman basketball players are coming in, Richardson, Samuels, and Bowie. Y'all talked about it yesterday, but these guys are not little shrimps. They're 6'6", and they've got a lot of versatility, and that's going to be the key. If these guys are as versatile as they're being advertised, it's really six. We really almost got 6 players. That's kind of the way I look at it, because they can go in, they can go out, they can play wing, they can play strong forward, they can play a little. Mike can bring the ball up the court, they can play a little off guard. So that's just going to afford Amari to sort of, I think, go back to a more natural spot of being a forward. And I think the guy I'm really excited about, a couple of guys. I'm really excited about Cole Clower, and I'm really excited about Jackson Richardson. I think all these guys are going to be good, but I think they bring versatility and some nice height and length to the team and great athleticism. And I know we've said that kind of like last year, but I really think this team can be good.
Yeah, Philip, and that was, I'm not going to get deep into the conversation because we'll pick it up on Monday. But that's what I was alluding to earlier, except for where you and I differ a little bit, is I think these big guards allow Nate Oates to play big ball, meaning that the only small guard we have, for the most part, is going to be the point guard, Holloway. But Allen, I think he's going to be a 2. I think that when you look at the forwards that he brought in, every one of them 6'6" forward, 6'8" forward, 6'10" forward, 6'11" forward / guard, 6'10" forward / guard. So to me, Nate Oates got big in the 3, 4, and 5 as well as I'm not in the 3, 4, and 5, but he didn't get big in the 5. I'm sorry. He maintained his size in the 5, got big in the 2, 3, and 4, which means that Amari can play the 2 because they now have a bigger. Because I think Amari can. I think part of his deal in coming back, Philip, and I could be wrong, is sort of like you remember Dak Prescott, how good he was, and then Mullins talked him into coming back. But he said, if I come back, you're going to have to help me become a better passer. And Mullins adjusted that offense. He adjusted the offense to be more pass than run, less option. I think part of Amari dealing coming back because he's not going to be a forward in the pros.
No, he's not. He got to shoot that basketball, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think that's why you'll see him as the 2, the shooting guard, more than you may see him as the 3, because Nate Oates got big in that 3 and 4. Because all of those guys we talked about are bigger than Amari.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But hey, man, I just want to conclude by reminding everybody Coach Gene Stallings' rules, and these are rules you heard probably in his words a jillion times. I want to tell everybody to go to church and don't go to jail.
All right. Thanks, Philip. Appreciate it. Oh, man. Well, we had a couple other comments that I'll get out of here with regarding the Nick Saban conversation. Rusty Dent, I think I hit that one. And then the OG said, I wouldn't say he prefers the NFL model. He wants rules to govern engagement. There should be rules to protect players. I agree. The number of people, according to Lisa Rawls, the number of people that misconstitute Nick Saban's position for whatever their agenda motivation is actually saying, yes, Martin, he was arguably underpaid. He didn't cause it. He's trying to fix. But I don't like the media rights pooling provision of this bill at all. There are provisions in it that protect players. Saban discussed some of those, including controlling agents. And Rusty Dent was agreeing with me. He was talking prior to NIL. The coaches, they saw coaches getting paid. But Nick Saban was always, even when Nick Saban before NIL was saying we should be giving these players something, but the schools should not be paying them. That's his point. They shouldn't. The schools, it's a college game. It's amateur athletics. It's not professional. They should have opportunity to make money, but I don't know that they should be paid outside of scholarship and a stipend, which I agree with. But revenue sharing in the college game, it only applies to football, guys. All the other sports are losing money. So if they were truly revenue sharing, they'd be owing the school because they're costing the school money. We'll continue to talk about this. We'll continue to break it down, and we'll be there. As we go into the weekend, I'll pick up where Philip left off. Hey, man, find yourself in church somewhere. Harvest Church, where we love God, love people, and we're just real people with real faith. We'd love you to visit us. But if you can't make it to join us, go find yourself somewhere in person. And if you can't make it in person, join us on the live stream. And remember this, trust in the Lord always. Be not your own understanding. And all your ways and all your hands, we will direct it back. Roll Tide, everybody.
Let's celebrate.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good morning. Here's one of the top stories we're following for you this hour. Now that the Republican-controlled legislature